Welcome to the grand return of the OG series on my channel, the JPGiviner Analysis. Usually how these videos work is I analyze 3 races and break down the good, the bad, and the ugly in my gameplay. However, I'm going to be taking a different approach this time around. While I'm only going to be analyzing 1 race instead of 3, I'm going to break down the entire race from start to finish, including what I was thinking in moments where nothing was happening. This will not only increase the consistency of these videos long term, as breaking down 1 race a week is a lot more sustainable than 3, but this will also give you guys more intel on not only how to maneuver through tough situations, but also what you should be thinking in easy situations. So with that said, without further ado, let's start giving her, bud. Today, we're going to be analyzing a race on Mushroom Gorge. You can use either a running or bagging strategy on Mushroom Gorge. I'd say both strategies are about as equally as viable here, but I personally opt to run. So burning out didn't exactly help here. However, like I said, this track can be played as a bagging track. So it's no surprise that in seconds, I end up in 6th. Playing in the middle of the pack with the intention of front running is a little tricky sometimes, but not at the start of Mushroom Gorge. I already have 5 coins and pretty much no one to contest me for the coins to come, so I opt to take the left path, collect the 3 coins, get 2 new items, and very easily secure 2 more coins at the upcoming coin ring to maximize my coin count. Now, full transparency, I got really lucky here because I pulled a star. So right now, I'm in the best place I could possibly be. I have a star in a fairly high position with 10 coins. At this point, I only have 1 play. Predict the shock. Shocks are really hard to predict in this game because unlike past Mario Kart games, there can be multiple shocks in play, and on top of that, you can see who's in a star or a bullet bill on the minimap. So it's a lot more complicated than chaining shock into the next item set. You have to factor in dodging as minimal people as possible, and to add extra emphasis to that, not dodging anyone who could have another shock in their pocket. But ironically, Mushroom Gorge is a track where shocks, at least in my eyes, are actually easier to predict. Generally speaking, shocks are either used around the last set on lap 2 or the second set on lap 3. So I'm already thinking to myself, there's no way I can waste my star on a lap 1 gap jump. No one is pulling shock that early, and no one is wasting shock that early either. In any case, even after players behind me took the gap jump, I still found myself in 6th place. There's a bit more to think about now because there's a bigger item pool around me. Of course, I have the star if I get nervous about getting hit, but in my mind, I've already locked in using my star around the last set on this lap. So if I can avoid all the items in the world, I will at all costs. Also, even though this item set is broken and you can pull crazy items even in a position like 5th or 6th, I didn't want to risk chaining my star, not pulling 2 ideal items, and setting myself up to get shocked at one of the 2 common shock spots on this track. Ironically, the player next to me did chain their star at that item set and pulled another star. That goes to show you how silly this item set is. At this point, I'm in the home stretch to use my star. Everyone had passed the 2nd set, which means the odds of someone having pulled shock are really high. So I activate my star shortly before the last set, and just like that, I dodged the shock in 5th. And pulling triple mushrooms from that set is exactly what I needed to easily take the gap jump and solidify myself for the rest of the race. Additionally, keep this in mind when you're performing the fast strat on this mushroom section. After super bouncing off the mushroom, you want to hit the brakes in the air so you bounce off the second last mushroom, as you can't reach the last mushroom while itemless. However, when you're in a star, you don't need to hit the brakes at all. You will easily be fast enough to bounce off the last mushroom. Piece of cake. In a lap 3 situation like this, there's really only one thing you can do. Pray that nothing bad happens. Having 2 mushrooms gives you the freedom to quickly recover after getting hit by 1 item and still having the other mushroom to take the gap jump. Of course, the best case scenario is not getting hit by anything at all. And you have to put all your eggs in this basket because if you were to use your mushrooms to hopefully get protection from items behind you, you might not pull those mushrooms again in time for the gap jump that closes out the race. So of course, I held my 2 mushrooms for the very end of the race. But with that in mind, here is my biggest mistake from this race. As you can see, the blue shell is coming, and I'm pretty much right next to the player in 1st place. You'd think I'd be fine because on top of having mushrooms of my own, they also have mushrooms of their own. So I don't even have to worry about mistiming the blue shell dodge. However, I would have much preferred that to what I had to work around instead. We were both bouncing off the mushrooms as the blue shell circled around the player in 1st, and just like that, I got caught in the explosion. Now let me tell you how I made a mistake here. I decided to take the fastest driving strategy alongside the player in 1st. We were essentially taking the same line. So even though I tried to move out of the way and was actually kind of close to succeeding, I still got caught. What I should have done instead was slow down a tiny bit on the green mushrooms to create space and perform a safe driving strategy to give myself all the room I need to work around the blue shell. If I pulled that off, I would have got 2nd place. But all things considered, 3rd place is still really good. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you'd leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this new style of analysis, and also if you learned anything. My goal is to upload one JPGiviner analysis a week, so I hope you're looking forward to me going back to my true roots. With that said, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day, and keep on giving her, bud.